Hello and welcome. Today I wanted to do a quick review of a product that a lot of you have been waiting with bated breath for me to review. This is the Ripper Blades Black Unstable Photon Blade. Now, just a little bit of clarification on this. Ripper Blades for a while has offered black unstable blades. Now this is an example of one of them right here. What this is a standard polycarbonate tube blade that has been dyed black and had lightning etched through the black into the blade. This has been offered in a couple different varieties. Upon occasion, they've offered it as their standard unstable, which has craft glitter on the inside but no diffusion film. They usually offer it as a pearl, which is what this is right here, which has the diffusion film in it. So that's a standard. The Photon, or black unstable photon blade, is kind of a new offering for them. And basically the design is much the same thing. It's a blade with black dye with lightning etched through the blade. The difference is that with the photon blade, what they're using is a photon or fluorescent green blade, which fluorescent greenish yellow. If you're not familiar with photon blades, I've got a video on them. You can search around for that. But the basic idea of a photon blade is that the fluorescence transfers anything within the blue light range spectrum into the green light range spectrum and actually brightens it up. It's a lot like the day glow paper that you see people making yard sale signs out of. They seem brighter than anything else around them because they're actually transforming some of the light into another spectrum and amplifying it. So that's what you're dealing with, and again, you can look up a video on that if there's more interest. But what they've got is they've taken a photon blade, or that fluorescent greenish yellow. They've put their pearl diffusion film in it. Actually, is this pearl or is this standard? This might be standard. But they've put diffusion film in it. One of the interesting things about Ripper Blades, if you've seen some of my other videos, instead of using a glue where they're like Ultra Sabers or Saber Forge will take the film and glue it in the bottom, Ripper Blades uses actually a piece of 3/4 inch blade stock or 7/8 inch blade stock that they cut off into a plug, and they fit that in there so that the film can still move around and doesn't get bunched up and wrinkled, but it's not going to fall out the end of the saber. So neat innovation. If you haven't seen that in any of my other videos, this is a good place to look at it. You can kind of see it right in there. But simple idea in terms of just doing the same thing they've been doing but with a photon blade. Let's take a look at how it works. So first off, let me show you the standard black blade in the primary colors, red, green, blue, and then a couple of blends. And then we'll see it next to the Photon. Alright, so you noticed with that one that with the solid colors, the red, green, and blue, the black darkened the color, and then where the lightning was, it popped through with more vibrance. With the blend colors, since they were brighter, the black kind of got lost and you ended up with a standard unstable sort of look. From a little bit further back, even in those blend colors, you can see that even in a white, we have sort of darker spots and lighter spots, but for the most part it just goes to the unstable effect. Alright, now let's take a look at the photon blade. Now you notice that the effect is much the same, with a couple of differences. The red looks almost identical from the Photon to the standard. The standard is actually a little bit darker because he used to use a darker dye, and this is a little bit older one. In the green, again, much the same. When we shift to blue, here's the standard. Here's the photon. So it takes the blue and it turns it into a green. Now with the blend colors, this actually gets pretty interesting, especially if you use a purple blade. Now purple, through a standard, has this sort of purpley pink look. Through the photon, purple on a photon blade gives you this watermelon color. Now you can't see a lot of this on the camera, but basically what this is a bright light green bordering on yellow outside to this with sort of a pink core that makes it kind of look like watermelon. It's really hard to capture on camera. On camera it just shows up as yellow. But in person, this is a pinkish blade, but wherever the lightning is becomes part of that outside. So we have a stark difference between the blade color and the lightning color. The lightning really pops on this sort of watermelon blade. Same thing is true to a certain extent with a white. We end up with this greenish, pale greenish. But anything basically with any blue in it for the photon blade, as long as the blue is lit, the lightning on the photon blade pops a lot more than the lightning on the standard. So what you're doing is you're sacrificing the ability to have blue or anything like a white. In exchange, you're getting much more variance between the lightning and the rest of the blade as long as you're using anything that has blue in it. The other interesting effect on these that I will show you just before I finish is when the blade is off, just used as a day blade. They have a very different aesthetic. Let me go ahead and show these to you side by side. So you saw that the black one, it's a black blade where the lightning is coming through in this sort of opalescent color. With this one, it's a black blade where the lightning's coming through in the fluorescent green. So again, the contrast is kind of nice on this. I really like this blade because this is one of my favorite blades that Ripper Blades makes. This is just a slight variant, or a slight variation on that I think overall paid off. If you're into green lightsabers or the watermelon blade, it's a really interesting way to go. One more thing that I wanted to show you about this, one sort of drawback. When you are running blend colors, there is one problem with this, and that's the tip. Because the tip is made out of that photonic material, if you're running anything with a blue in it, the tip is going to light up green, whereas the rest of the blade is going to do what it does. Now this isn't, let me explain, this isn't really a problem if we're just running blue through. We get a solid photonic with a little bit of a seam here where it glows a little bit brighter here. But if we run that watermelon blade, this is a pink blade with yellow-blue lightning until we hit the tip. The tip is bright green. Let me see if I can capture that at all on camera. While it didn't capture on camera, you could see it on my hand that I put behind the blade. You could see that where the tip was, it was reflecting green, and the rest was reflecting that kind of pink. So the blending to the tip with the watermelon blade is a little bit off. But otherwise, this is a really interesting idea. I think this is going to become a stock model because photonic blades are really popular, and I think this is a very good take on it. So there you have it, the Ripper Blades Unstable Black Photon Blade. Hopefully this has been of use. If it has, join me back for more videos, and I'll see you next time.